like, no matter how many times you practice in your controlled environment, it never feels the same as a show.
Yeah, it's not stressful if you break a string in your basement, because you can just be like, oh, well, I got a pack of strings. I'll just change this while you guys talk about something. But like,
you're not battling, like playing in between other acts with like, a sound system that like you're not familiar with, or a sound person that, maybe doesn't give a shit about their job.
Monitors that don't make any noise.
Or make way too much noise and you're like bleeding. You're like, why? I don't need to hear the harmony vocals that I'm not even singing along with. Like, this is dreadful. But
that's the thing of performance too. It's like being as much agony as possible, but make it look like you're having.
Yeah.
I mean, you're having a good time.
No, that's a really good point. That's a really good point. There's definitely a lot of people that they're not aware of that. They'll make it very obvious they're having a miserable time. Kind of just segueing into a point that I've been thinking about a lot lately, where as performers, we need to remember that, the show is for the people that are watching the show. It's not for us. I mean, a part of it is for us, but we need to make sure that we're giving the people that took time out of their day to come watch us, or they just happen to stumble into a place and they're watching you just like, oh, what's going on? That like you're giving a good performance and you look like you're having fun, so people want to be a part of that.
You really got to leave your shit at the door, unless it's like one of those things where you're playing like a solo or getting into a performance and you have like some energy that you're channeling in like a musical way. We've had a couple shows where like we played at what's the place in Station Square we played at? Buckheads.
Oh, Buckheads, yeah.
And it was like one of these nightmare scenarios.
How did that happen?
They thought they wanted to start with live bands. Which
Okay.
We didn't know any. None of us had been there before. Yeah, I don't think. And they're like,
I've seen the lines, like, just from being down in that
and they're
area.
like, like we would love to have you guys play. We've seen some of. I think like their manager had seen us play once and was like, this will be great. And our sax player at the time, and he was like a permanent member, he had some other obligations that day, so he was running from those obligations to us.
Marching band.
He was working for Hampton's marching band at the time, and he was running late and had some family problems, and so he's coming in with like a really bad attitude. We're all stressed because it's super late, and our bass player at the time had started buying drinks for the sax player who wasn't there, so then he drank both drinks. And got like 4 rounds of those. So he was obliterated, and we vibed really bad. The audience was very confused because they were like, why is there a rock band at Buckheads right now? This makes no sense.
We were trading sets with the DJ.
We were trading back and forth with someone who was a DJ, and then the promoter wrote a set list for us of songs that we didn't even know. And he's like, can you play these? And we're just like, this isn't how this works, man.
Do you guys know any Black Eyed Peas? It's like,
like rock band, a live rock band. And they're like, can you turn it down? And we're like, booked us.
I hate that comment sometimes. I get it. I really get it. Like, but as a whole band, like if you are hiring a rock band, like you have to expect it's going to be loud.
That's the thing where we did a restaurant gig a couple weeks ago, and I like followed up with the owner several times. I was like, look, this is going to be loud. This is what we're doing. Are you okay with it? Yeah, cool. Like, follow up, like, this is it. Like, are we, being very transparent and clear? Like, this is what we're going to fucking do. And he's like, yeah. And then we did it and it was fine.
Yeah.
But I think it's just a matter of like, sometimes people actually know what they're getting into when they ask you, and then other times people don't. And like, just figuring out like, if somebody actually knows what they're asking for can be a bit of a chore at times.
Which is not Buckhead's fault. Like,
totally.
Like, it's not their fault that like it was a weird vibe. It was more so, I think you can look at us and the way we dressed a little different back then.
Yeah,
like
we've changed it up.
We've changed up the way we do, but we had this real aura of like, we party back then, like just like the way that we were in all these bright colors and like moving around more than we do. And I see how you could walk by that and be like, yo, I need to put that in my bar, because that's a party right there. But then like when you get into it, it's like, oh, this is a giant collection of indie rock songs that they wrote, then they have extended drum solos and like bass solos, and they're trading parts, and this is a jazz song, and it's like, well, it's not quite the party, if you walk.
And I mean, there's some flexibility with like volume. I mean, if we know about it, we can bring acoustics, and we you have some dynamic control where you can be like, all right, we're playing at Mr. Small's for the release show, like obviously that's as, you know, turned up as you can get volume wise. But like if we're playing in like, you know, we've done a couple other podcasts recently and it's like we're playing in a tiny room like smaller than this, and it's like, all right, we want this to sound really good. We're going to set up minimal, play quietly, and it's going to work out. And we hit that with the right mentality, but it's like we're playing outside. People want to have a conversation though, and it's like you're not going to stand right in front of the band and have a conversation. So why complain about it? You know,
Yeah,
it's a little strange.
You mentioned